name is Jose Reyes, and I am a focused missionary. And I'd like to take you step by step to explain what that means and also to inform you on how you can support this mission of Focus. So Focus is the organization I work for, the Fellowship of Catholic University Students. What's the main thing of Focus? The main thing of Focus is to invite college students into a growing relationship with Jesus Christ and His Church, to inspire and equip them for a lifetime of Christ-centered evangelization, discipleship, and friendship in which they lead others to do the same. Those are a lot of words. What does that all mean? Well, this is the model of Focus: to win a student over for Christ, to build them up in their faith, and to send them out in a way where they'll be able to win a person over, build them up, and send them out repetitively. So what does a win look like? A win is like a big, large-scale retreat or a mission trip or a national conference. They got me on a mission trip. On my mission trip in Africa for 5 weeks, that's when I met the person, the heart, the lover of Jesus Christ, and it changed my life. So once you win them over to Jesus Christ, you build them up in their faith and their love for Christ. And this is the bread and butter of Focus, is our small group Bible studies, to really zone in to where God is calling us, what God is trying to tell us, to learn who Jesus Christ is as our best friend. So we win them over, build them up, and then we send them out so that they do the same thing for other students. And when they're in this mode, we meet up with them once a week for an hour as their mentor. We call it discipleship. They become our student missionary. So we build them up in virtue as much as we can. And the three biggest virtues on college campuses are chastity, sobriety, and excellence. And those help fight the vices of pornography, masturbation, sexual culture, of drunkenness and alcohol, and for laziness and procrastination in college. So that's basically the method, the model, but that fosters spiritual multiplication. So let's see, like when you send a student out, what does that mean? So let's say I come onto a campus and I get a Bible study going to 5 guys. At the end of that semester, one guy will be like, hey, this is really cool. I want to do more, because I'll introduce that this is a lifetime of things. So at the end of the semester, I have one other guy leading a Bible study of 5 men, and now our results just doubled. What happens at the end of that semester? I add somebody, but he also adds somebody. So that doubles the amount of student missionaries and the amount of people in Bible studies. What happens the third semester? The exact same thing, doubles the numbers again. And as you can see, this becomes repetitive. But you can see the large amount of students being built up and won over in the faith and sent out. So this isn't the method we use because it's a good method. We use this method because it's the best method. This is the method that Jesus Christ used Himself. Think of this. He invested small to go big. He invested in 12 disciples to transform the whole world. We're basically using the same method He taught us to do. After a year at being at the University of Tulsa, this is my discipleship chain. You can see the first row of guys, those are the guys I meet up with weekly and sent them out. So now they are leading Bible studies, and you can already see that they've won over some guys for Christ, and they're building them out to send them out. Now by 2 years, by one person alone genuinely investing themselves into a small group of people, in 2 years, 4 semesters, 16 disciples of Christ foster because of that. And that's 16 people leading Bible studies, and that brings about 80 people in Bible studies weekly. Those results are insane. Now, it's not a team of just me on campus. This is my team at Team Tulsa in Oklahoma that will be there this following year. Usually there's about 4 missionaries. We have 5, praise God. But with 4 missionaries, you can multiply my results by 4, and you have 80 people that are student missionaries leading Bible studies on campuses. And that means 400 students in weekly Bible studies. That's how to invest small and go big. And we're also at 100 different campuses in America. which means that's why we have these huge numbers of 3,300 students that are student missionaries leading Bible studies and 10,000 students in weekly Bible studies. Alright, why college campuses? Why not high schools? Why not our parishes? Why college campuses? First, I want to say this. We didn't see a hole and say, wow, there's not really a good presence on college campuses. We are using college campuses as a platform to launch a culture shift, to change the world. If we change the college campus culture, we change the world culture. Let's go more into detail. I'm going to introduce you to Luis Ronald. You might be familiar with his work. He is the creator, the inventor of the Bikini. Now, he was an engineer and he took over his mother's lingerie business. Now, his whole thing was to make something, a bathing suit, into a lingerie somehow. So he made the Bikini, and his slogan was, if it doesn't fit through a wedding ring, then it's not a bikini. Now, this is something that not a lot of people know about. He would go out to all the models in France to pay them to model this bikini, this invention he had. Every model said no. Why? Because they thought it was objectifying women, they thought it was trashy, and they honestly thought that this guy was a little pervert that owned a lingerie business that just wanted to make other people wear lingerie in public. Yeah, basically, no thank you, you little weirdo. Am I smashing people that wear bikinis? Not necessarily. Now, do I think it's bad? Well, it did come from the lingerie business, but I'm not saying that if you're wearing a bikini or if you own one, you're a bad person. What I'm trying to say is that this started a culture change, this culture shift. Now, when we think about a bikini, we don't think of it like the models did back then in France. The models now actually wear bikinis. Not only the models, but we all wear bikinis, except for me. But the women do. Even our daughters wear bikinis. This thing that was a lingerie and a very trashy thing has become the new bathing suit, a culture change, a culture shift. And ideas like this sparked the sexual revolution, of free love, all of these ideas. And these were embedded in the college campuses. And it just spread like wildfire. Why? Because the atmosphere, you go to classes with your classmates, you live with them in the dorm rooms. Ideas, they just spark like wildfire. And then they leave their family's house and they're involved in college campus. It's that 4-year window when they become their own man, their own woman, and they come up with their morals, their career path, their spouse. So whatever ideas are happening in college is basically what's being attached to their hearts. They become our future lawmakers, politicians, and educators. I said politicians twice, my bad. And they come out with laws that are true to their hearts. So if free love is this idea in college campuses, what is our future going to look like? Well, now, basically. So how do we get this culture and shift it into a Christ-centered culture? We're going to do the same thing. We're going to go to college campuses because the atmosphere that will spark the idea and spread it like wildfire. Because of that 4-year window to really give them a Christ-centered culture and a Christ-centered decision maker so they can make their decision on their wife based on that. They can vote based on a Christ-centered decision. And also they become our future doctors, businessmen, engineers, entertainers. Think about it. Think about all these people inspired at college campuses teaching those other people when they become entertainers and doctors. It's a beautiful thing. What are the successes of Focus? The successes of Focus are enormous. In 15 short years, we've been to 1 campus to 100 campuses. We had 4 missionaries starting off. Now we have about 450 missionaries full-time. Vocations. In the past 10 years, Focus has played a role in bringing people into their vocation as a priest or as a nun. Now, it was Jesus Christ that brought them into that, but Focus definitely helped with that. Just in the past year, in 2013, 50 men became seminarians and 20 women joined the convent. That's awesome. That is awesome. If you don't believe me, look at some of the great archbishops and what they say about Focus, some of the great theologians of the church. Spoiler alert, they're all good. So, where do you come in this? St. Therese of Lisieux says some give by going to missions, but some go by giving to missions. Without both, there are no missions. I've given up everything to go on mission, and I'm asking you to go on mission by giving to mission. So let's say you give $200 a month. When you give it to Focus so that you get that tax deduction for yourself. And that comes to me. It comes as an income tax, and that's how nonprofits work. Now, Focus takes about 5% for administration fee, but none of your money goes to the organization. None of your money goes to Rome or anything. It basically supports the missionary you want to support. So that's really good to keep in mind. Why did I come up with these numbers? They might look a little scary at first, but let's go back to Leviticus when God talks about tithing. Now, quick little thing, Jesus destroys tithing and says give everything, but we'll stick with tithing for now. So if God gives you everything, your paycheck, your job, your everything, it's probably a good idea to give 10% of those earnings back to Him. So 5% goes to the church on average, and 5% goes to communities that you want to support. I'm one of those communities, and I'm asking for 3% so that you can give 2% to another community. Now, what does that mean? Let's say you're married, or let's say you're a single woman or a single male. If you have an income of $60,000, what I would be asking for is 3% of that income, which comes out to $150 a month. That's kind of where I'm going with this. Now, going back to my life, I was an engineer before I became a full-time missionary. I supported at $200 a month Focus missionaries. So I became so invested that I became a Focus missionary myself. Let's go into the heart. I graduated from Arizona State University with a GPA of about 3.9 in civil engineering, which led to a great, successful job. I really enjoyed it. Now, I went on a mission trip with Focus after that, and it completely changed my life. Like I said, it introduced me to the person, to the heart of Jesus Christ. And I knew the importance of giving what God has given to me back to the church. So I gave 5% to the church, I gave 4% of my income to Focus missionaries, and then I gave 1% back to a community that I really liked. So, are you bound by 3%? No, this is a suggestion because it hurts a little bit, I know. But it's also something that really helps me in a real way, being a first world missionary, reaching the students out in the bars, reaching the students out in different places where I need to spend money for. So, I'm not asking you to give up everything. I, along with 450 missionaries, have already done that for you. What I'm asking you to do is to give 3%, give or take, so that I can keep giving 100% to those students on campus to inspire that culture change. Pray about it. See where God wants to give you. Does God want you to give less than 3%? Does God want to give you or give more than 3%? Go to focusjoe.com. This is my blog. Go through the videos, the testimonies. This girl's from Ireland. She came all the way out to one of our Focus conferences to learn and to bring it back to the bishops of Ireland to teach them Focus's methods. This is me talking about that leadership summit. Scroll down and go through all the testimonies. You'll love it. This is the tip of the iceberg of Focus. When I meet you, when I hope I do, or I give you a phone call, I would love to explain more, answer more questions. But hopefully this is enough for you to prayerfully consider supporting me as your own Focus missionary. Thank you so much, and God bless.